are you doing, Maud? Oh yeah, she loves these. Hi everyone, thanks so much for joining me today at Tiny Barn Farm. It's now November, so gardening season is officially over. I've spent the last few weeks just putting the garden to bed. So by that, basically we did our last harvest, which was kale, some cabbage, a few little sad little tiny cabbages, which I made sauerkraut with. And I'm pretty excited about that because that's the first time I've made sauerkraut. So I'll show you that in a bit. It's been sitting on the counter for a few weeks. Kale, we harvested and then I chopped up a bunch of it and stuck it in the freezer. We've been using it in meals like soups and stews and chilies. I love having kale in the freezer. It's just such a really handy vegetable and green to get nutrition through the winter time. So we've got quite a bit. I just harvested it all. And what else did I pull out of the garden? The beans. So the beans I had harvested about a month ago, the dry beans. So I've been processing those. So they've been drying in the garage. And then I spent actually a couple days just taking them out of their shells. I know that there are easier ways to do that, especially when you have quite a large quantity, but we don't have that equipment here. So I just did it manually and it was something that I could just do to pass the time. So that's been completed and now they're drying on the counter. So basically the garden is finished producing. And what I really wanted to do was to give it a light till. Now, I'm a big believer in no-till gardening, and actually that's usually what I do. But this year, because we want to make some changes to the layout of the garden, I have a bit more of a plan to just add some wider paths in there and just make it a little bit more accessible, give the fruit bushes around the perimeter, because I've got like shrubs and things like berries around the perimeter, and I really want to give them more space because they tend to go a little crazy. So I'm going to be putting a 4-foot path around where the fruit bushes are. So that means my vegetable garden is going to shrink slightly, but it's just going to be laid out differently. So I wanted to give it a light till. And so we did that. We rented. So our garden is pretty big. It's like 100 feet by 100 feet. And well, minus the perimeter of the fruit tree. So but basically like 90 feet by 90 feet circle. So we rented a tiller. Now, originally we had it tilled by a neighbor of ours who had a tractor, which was really handy because it kind of went really quickly and it was about 5 minutes and he was done. But I didn't really want to bring a tractor in, primarily because I wanted to ensure that the fruit bushes weren't compromised. I also really wanted to do just a light till. So like literally like the first 4 to 6 inches of the soil. I want to keep the rest of it intact because the more you till, the more you ruin the soil structure. And because I'm trying to build the soil, I don't really want to deplete it if I don't need to. So what I've done is we just tilled it. It was a struggle because the only tiller that was available was kind of a small one. So my very kind and sweet husband decided to do the tilling, and he did a great job. It was a bit of a struggle getting it started. We had some long weeds and things in the garden, so but we got through it, he got through it, and it turned out really great. And then I had ordered a new tarp, one that is 100 feet long by 30 feet wide. So we spent some time in a somewhat windy day rolling out that tarp and ensuring that at least 50% of the garden was completely covered. Now what that does is if you do a light till and then you tarp it, it really suppresses any weed growth, and it actually warms up the soil because the tarp is black on one side. So we put the black side up. And what happens is that in the springtime, that soil is defrosted a lot faster than the rest of the soil because everything else is frozen solid. And then we get to to that early spring stage, and the black of the tarp will create heat, and then the soil underneath becomes really, really easy to maneuver. So that's when I'll be able to shape the gardens, if I can get the tarp off, because sometimes you have ice buildup on top of the tarp. And anyway, we'll see. And there's still a spot where the sunflowers were, and I'm going to order another tarp. I'm trying to basically cover most of the garden. I'm not trying to, it's a little bit more challenging when it's a round garden because, well, it's round and the tarps aren't round. So I'm trying to position some of my older tarps in certain areas, and then order one more tarp to cover a corner that is uncovered where the sunflowers were. And then that will basically be like 90% of the garden is covered. And then in the springtime, I'll probably be able to drag one of those tarps onto one of the other areas. And then just ensure that that gets kind of taken back as well. It doesn't take long. You only need the tarp on there for about 3 to 4 weeks for it to really just like kill everything underneath it. So I'm not too worried about having crazy weeds in early spring, but it will help if I put that tarp on top. So yeah, so the laying of the tarp was quite an adventure because it's so huge, and it's like 90 pounds. The one that I ordered is one of the largest tarps I've ever ordered. So the two of us very slowly made that happen and rolled that out onto the garden without allowing the wind to pick it up, because if a big gust of wind comes, then, I mean, basically we'd be Mary Poppins probably ending up in our neighbor's field. So it's gonna butt up against this. I don't know. Yeah, and try to cover it. We wanted to ensure that we have sandbags with handles. So as we were rolling it out, we were using those sandbags to just hold the tarp down as we went, just because the wind was starting to pick up. Of course, it always starts to pick up when you're doing something like this. And so we were successful in being able to stretch that out and able to do that successfully. And we're quite happy with the results. And actually, I'll show you. And you can kind of see it from the window here, but I'll show you what we got out there. You can see it in the distance there, the black shiny thing. That's our new tarp sitting there. And like I said, we still have one more portion that we need to add, but overall it'll be mostly covered while keeping the perennials, which is in the center. Some of my herbs and my asparagus are in the center, so I'm going to keep those exposed and then to the sun, and then also around the perimeters, all our fruit trees that will also remain exposed so that they can come up safely in the springtime, and then, you know, we're not suppressing anything that we don't want to suppress. Also, what I did before I put the tarp down is I just threw all the compost onto the garden. Figured might as well just start fresh. I want to rework my compost. Right now we just have a pile. I want to eventually make 3 bins so that we can do proper composting. But so for now, I just threw everything that we had, let it compost in place under the tarp in the garden, and then by next year, we'll be totally fine to plant right into it. It'll all be broken down, all the worms. And we found a lot of worms, and we got a lot of voles and field mice and things like that. So it'll be nice fluffy soil by the time we get to the spring. And the plan in the springtime is to rework the garden, and then I'm going to bring in a couple more loads of composted sheep manure from a local farmer. They sell their sheep manure every spring, so this year we got 2 trailer loads. We're going to get another 2 trailer loads just to really ramp up that fertility in the garden. And because we don't have farm animals right now, we kind of have to do that just to get our garden soil built up. We do plan on getting farm animals at some point, but we don't want to rush into that. So we're going to just stick with the vegetables for now, and then see how it goes. That's the garden wrap up. And so the garden's been put to bed. All the food has been put away. We've done a little bit of preserving, but mostly blanching and freezing to put our food away. And we have potatoes in our mechanical room right now. Next year, we're hoping to have our cold storage room, so we'll be getting a little more advanced in terms of how we're storing our food. I also just took a pressure canning course. I want to get more comfortable doing canning and preserving, and I was really excited, and I'm less intimidated by a pressure cooker, so that's something that I want to be trying probably into next year, but I'd like to I have access to one, I just have to get it. But once I have it, I'd like to try even just pressure canning some ready-made meals. It would just be great to not put everything in the freezer. As much as I have like 2.5 freezers right now, they're full. So I'd really like to put some things in the pantry so that they kind of alleviate some of that freezer space. And then I can place a meat order with one of our local farmers. The same people we get the sheep manure from, but we get a meat order from them every year. But right now I can't do that because the freezer's full of all my vegetables. So we're going meatless for now. We don't eat a lot of meat, but we eat some. So we definitely like to have a bit of a selection in the freezer. I guess my next little bit of news is that we adopted 2 cats. So they are the newest additions to our family here. Maud and Mabel, they were rescue cats that were surrendered to a local rescue here. I always wanted to get cats. I've always had cats my whole life, and we had 2 cats relatively recently. All of our pets got old all kind of at the same time. So our cat Peanut, she passed away a couple years ago. And our cat Oliver passed away 3 years ago. So we didn't have any cats in the family. And so we had our dog Miles, who was just the absolute, my soul dog. And we lost him this past August, which was one of the most difficult losses I've ever experienced, to be honest. I hadn't mentioned that loss in my past videos. I've had such a hard time talking about it. So here we are. So we lost Miles in August, and he was 15 years old. So he lived a wonderful, long life with us, and he was just the best. But as we all know, dogs, especially shepherd mixed dogs, that's kind of their limit of age. So it was a really big void in our life not having him around anymore. So we actually have a video of him that I had made while he was still with us for his 15th birthday. I'll share that with you at the end of the video. I wanted to make that as a tribute to him because I knew that his days were coming to an end at some point, and I wanted to do that before we lost him because I know I can't even watch it now. So I know that, and I'm really happy I did that. I just felt like I wanted to put all those memories together of Miles, and so that's what's kind of been going on in the last few months. So anyway, the house got really quiet and it became really difficult to not have a pet around. I've always had animals and we're not quite ready for a dog. We don't really want to replace Miles just yet. We want to go through the grieving process appropriately and just be ready to welcome another dog. We will eventually get another dog. We're thinking perhaps next year if we both feel ready for that. And then maybe even add yet another so that they kind of can have some fun together. It's such a lovely property, and to not have a dog here is kind of strange. But we are going to take our time with that. But because of the emptiness in the house, I was just like, I just need some kind of pet around. And I discovered these two sisters, bonded sisters. I always wanted a bonded pair of cats. There's something pretty amazing about cats that are just so close. And these two came up for adoption about a month ago. And I was kind of keeping an eye on them. And then I went to go meet them a few weeks back. And it was just love at first sight for me. I just was overwhelmed with emotion when I met them, and they're just the sweetest, cutest little fur balls, and they're cuddly and friendly, and they let me pick them up like the minute I met them, which was just incredible. If anybody out there has cats, you know that that's not usually the case. But yeah, they were just incredibly friendly. I knew right away that they would be a good fit. This is Mabel, and this is Maud. They're sisters, bonded sisters. That means they groom each other and sleep together, and they're very close. They play all the time, and they are just the sweetest. So yeah, that's our new additions to our family. They bring us a lot of joy, and they're troublemakers, so it's an adjustment, but yeah, it's nice to have cats again. They're just a wonderful addition to our home, and it kind of makes the loss of Miles a little bit easier. I mean, it's still hard, but it's just nice having a couple little extra heartbeats in the house. Hi, sleepy kitty. Hello. You love the sun? You do. You love the sun? Oh boy. Oh boy. What are you doing, Maud? Oh yeah, she loves these. Oh, quick scratch. There she goes. To make us laugh, and they do. They're funny, and they do crazy things, and they're little troublemakers, and they're only 1.5 years, so they're pretty rambunctious. But then they sleep for 6 hours, so yeah, it's pretty fun having them around. So yeah, that's our newest addition. That's kind of my thought process behind getting the cats. So yeah, they're gonna hopefully live a long, healthy life with us. They love it. They're gonna remain indoor cats right now because we just have a lot of predators in the area on this land. So we're gonna keep them inside, but they seem very, very content, and they're really enjoying their new surroundings. When we purchased the property, this was basically a blank slate. There's not a lot of trees here. I mean, in the cleared fields, except for evergreens. As you can see behind me, we've got some evergreens. I'm actually thinking of maybe decorating that one for Christmas outside. Since we have cats now, I don't think we can have a Christmas tree, at least not this year, because they'll just tear it down. But there's a Christmas tree out there that I'm thinking maybe putting some lights on, but we'll see. So we wanted to plant some maple trees, oak trees, and poplars. Not a lot, but just a few, just kind of coming up the driveway. So rather than going to a garden center and buying trees, we go to our woods and there's a lot of saplings, small trees, 5, 6 feet tall. And that we've done this before. We've dug them out, dug a nice big root ball and transplanted them elsewhere on the property. So we did 3 by the tiny barn 4 years ago, and 2 of them have survived. Well, one has survived and has done really well. The other one died back, but it's got shoots coming up. It's a red maple. So we've got red maple shoots coming up at the base of it. So that's a good sign. And we're going to see how that does. But they're both, the one is doing really well. And we also, last year, we planted, I believe, 2 oak trees up our driveway, and they both survived. So they're little, like probably 4 feet tall right now. And I know oaks are kind of slow, so they're going to take a while to grow. And then we planted 3 maple trees, I believe, and I think all 3 of them are doing fine.
Let's go.
All right.
Ready?
Yeah, let's go. I don't know what that was. Grouse, maybe? Grouse, maybe? Rabbit? A lot of tracks through here, eh?
Yeah, there's these little ones here.
Well, yeah, we marked 2, so I see one there. Yeah. Marked it with some, yeah, just the little green tape. And then, I thought I marked another one back here. So, that's another one. That's a poplar. Really nice and healthy. Do you want to put the camera up since we're here? Just kind of get that, and then we'll. Oh, it doesn't matter. Yeah, I think we just put it lower so when the moose walks by, we see its legs. You can see the scratch, eh? The bear scratch.
Oh yeah.
There. The booger. There we are.
Yep.
See what we get. Who knows? Who's crittering? It's kind of falling apart, this camera.
Well.
It's been attacked a couple times. The moss is really puffy. Look how puffy the moss is. Look at that. It's so puffy, it's like clouds. Incredible. Oh, look at that. Look how beautiful that is down there. I call this the moss forest. Just covered in moss. It's nice to be barefoot. This cute little tree. How adorable is that? All right, yeah, that's okay. Okay, there we go. We found it. We found the marked tree. That's a nice one too. It's like 6 feet tall.
Yeah, or at least.
Okay, so
Okay,
let's.
if we can get it up.
Yeah, we'll try. poplar. They are the first to sprout in the spring, and they're beautiful. Like when they turn yellow, that bright yellow, and their trunks are white. They're lovely, yeah. And they grow fast. So we can fit these together. We're gonna fit this. Okay. There we go.
At some point.
Do you think we'll be doing 2 trips?
No, if we do one more.
Okay, let's do one more. Yeah, that's great. All right. Yeah, I think an animal was scratching at that tree.
Little porcupine.
Probably. Oh well, we'll fix. We'll.
Even just a deer just leaning down.
Yeah,
and
sometimes
grazing.
they. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, well this is good.
Yeah, it's great. Let's do this. There we are. Yeah, this little guy
Right.
beside
okay.
that little evergreen. Perfect. Yeah, and this was a nice. Like, look how nice that is. Should be pretty easy to get out.
Yeah, so this guy would be
Oh yeah.
nice and deep in the middle.
Yeah, that's great. Thanks for doing all the heavy lifting, love.
You're welcome.
As usual. There we go.
Uh-oh.
Oh, did we rip the taproot off? Hopefully not. Yeah.
Yeah, pretty
These
good.
trees have to be pretty resilient when we pull them out of the ground. Well, here we are, 4 trees.
Oh, there you go.
That's awesome. Here, I'll take this.
Well, so far we've had a 3 for 4 runner, so maybe we'll
Yeah.
keep that going. Maybe we'll go 4 for 4. I don't know.
Maybe.
All right. Let's
All right, let's do this. We're gonna kind of line the driveway, but not line the driveway. Just make it look like they kind of grew here naturally. So we're just dispersing these throughout the property. Yeah,
go. Right there.
yeah, that's an oak.
Little guy, but I think it's
Yeah, that's a little oak that we planted. So where's the first one going? Oh yeah, right there. Perfect.
You want to do the small maple here?
We could do the small maple, sure. That's the last one we got. That little, the one at the front there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Want to do that one?
Yeah, sure.
I think this soil's pretty rich.
Okay.
It's probably pretty
Maybe we just let them do their natural thing. But I will bring bone meal, and I have to get water.
Yeah.
Should I get water at the barn?
If you can.
Assuming there isn't a skunk living under there. I'll just be quiet. If I get sprayed, well. Can you get water? Water. Out of the barrel. I've got a water barrel by the tiny barn. So I'm going to get some water out of there to water the trees. We think there might be a skunk living here. So I'm going to try to just be extra quiet because I don't want to get sprayed. We'll see. See how it goes. All right. Wish me luck. I don't know if it's a skunk. It might be a fox. Let's see. Started cleaning out some of this wood. Took some of it to the dump today. It's rotting. Alright, hopefully there's nobody living in here. Let's see. Always approach carefully because you just never know. I could kind of smell skunk the other day. So, just be quiet. Hopefully nobody gets spooked and we don't get sprayed. Okay. Oh shit, you scared the crap out of me. There's a lot of water in there. We've had a lot of rain.
Yeah.
Might as well use it up. We're just gonna have to dump it. And if somebody's hibernating under the barn, I don't really want to dump it all here, because then
No,
we're gonna dump it into their burrow.
But we can open that spigot just slowly.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm gonna take like
We care about our critters around here.
somewhat. Oh, that spigot's broken.
It's broken.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, right. So it's permanently closed. Yeah, you can't open it. It's broken. Yeah. Last year I had to tip it. Yeah, the handle broke off.
Well, should we just tip it?
No, I don't want to get rid of it just yet.
Okay.
We still have nice warm weather coming,
And some
so
more transplant.
possibly more transplant. Yeah, that's good. I know, the animals are kind of attracted to it. Doesn't seem like anybody's been...
Oh, that's going to be pretty good.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Okay, now.
Should I take this thing off?
Sure.
Oh. So this one we're doing a poplar. And this beauty right here. It's about what, 6 feet tall maybe?
Yeah, pretty close.
Yeah, and then we have another red maple. We think it's a red maple.
We do, yeah.
Because we already have other maples. It could be a sugar maple. We already have other maples, but they're not red.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Flood it with water. Grab this giant root ball. Oh, the hole isn't big enough. No. Yeah, we're gonna have to. Yeah, so what we're doing is we're putting the old, or the original soil around the tree, so that when it rains, it creates kind of a bowl. We usually like to do this with the earth, but. And did you kind of push that tree down?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect. Just so when it rains, it gets the water pools there a little bit. It'll get good drainage here though.
It will.
And we'll do the whole bucket.
Yep.
I mean, it's gonna freeze soon anyway. We just want it to have a nice amount of water, so that when it comes out of dormancy in the spring, it'll have enough water. Put a little bone meal in there. That's the stuff we use. It's the same stuff we use for our fruit trees. And this is a red maple.
Red maple.
All right. Bright red leaves. Good luck, little maple.
Yep.
We'll see you in the spring, hopefully. I love the poplars because they are kind of the first to bloom in the springtime. And they turn this brilliant yellow in the fall. And they grow really fast. So we decided to add a poplar. And then also we added maples. So I believe it's 2 red maples and a sugar maple. So just to add some color, because we don't have a lot of the maples on our fields. So we just wanted to add some shade trees and just add a little bit of color in the fall, because it's so spectacular in the fall here. And to have some of those colors come a little closer to the farmhouse is really exciting. So we'll see how they do. I put a little bone meal in with them, and then just drenched it with water. That was the instruction that I got from one of the local nurseries. And that now they're in dormancy now, so there's no leaves on these trees. We had marked them. And so now they're in the ground, and hopefully they'll do okay. Usually takes a couple winters to really know. But yeah, we're pretty excited about those. I just imagine in 10 years from now having these beautiful trees. That's it for garden season. But you know what? As soon as January hits, I'm looking through seed catalogs. So it won't be long before the plans begin once again. I just wanted to thank you all so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed this beautiful fall we had. If you get fall in the area you're in, we've now officially had our first snowfall. Actually, that's late for us. Often we get snowstorms in October, but the last few winters, it's been pretty mild. Winter's coming. It's just not quite here yet. As you can see, it's still pretty green out there. Be sure to subscribe to get more updates on what's going on here. I'm going to be hopefully learning some more food preservation tactics. And then, oh, you know what? Before I go, I'm going to show you the sauerkraut that I made. And maybe if there's any sauerkraut makers out there, you can give me some advice. But let's go and see what we got in our sauerkraut jar. This is the sauerkraut jar. These were 6 little cabbages that were in the garden, and I figured, you know what, this is the best time for me to try to do this. So I'll leave the link to the woman, the video that I watched to make sauerkraut, and it was really informative. So I'm hoping, I'll just share it in the notes if anybody wants to give this a try. And if anybody out there already does this, I would actually like to find a good recipe for kimchi. I love kimchi, but I thought I would start with a very basic sauerkraut in a mason jar. So she says every day, just let a little bit of air out. So let's see. I'm going to try it. I haven't tried it yet, but this is like, it's looking like it's ready. Like they say when it has like those kind of gaps and things, and if it has kind of a vinegary smell, it's ready to go. So let's see, I'm going to try it. So I have a little jar in here as a weight. That was to hold it down. Let's see. It's definitely fizzy. Oh yeah. That's definitely getting that kind of vinegary, smells like sauerkraut. I think we're good to go. I could probably put this in the fridge. But yeah, it's definitely fizzing away. But you know what? I'm going to put this back in here. Make sure everything's submerged. You hear it kind of... Yeah, I don't know. Definitely smells like sauerkraut, looks like sauerkraut, so I think we're good to go. I haven't actually tasted the actual kraut because I have to take some layers of cabbage off, but yeah, I'll keep you posted on how this went. It's interesting. I love this. I usually buy the store-bought one, but I'd much rather just have my own. And so yeah, it looks like we've got a successful sauerkraut here. Anyway, thank you so much again. Have a wonderful day, have a wonderful week, and we'll see you next time here at Tiny Barn Farm. Take care.